Sheryl Sandberg made big waves when she included this advice in Lean In. The most important career decision you'll make is who you marry. Now, whatever you think about the institution of marriage, research shows that the partners we choose to have in our lives can impact our careers in surprising ways. Hey everyone, it's Emily here with Bossed Up, and guess what? Research shows that being in a toxic relationship can leave you depressed and depleted. This was certainly true for me in my first few years out of college when I found myself completely burnt out. And it wasn't just because I had a crazy demanding job. It absolutely had to do with the fact that the man I loved and was living with was struggling with addiction, and his addiction became my waking nightmare. You know, looking back on it, I stayed in that relationship for years longer than I wish I had. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was just so focused on building my career, I didn't think my relationships, good, bad, or ugly, had a big impact on that. But oh boy, was I wrong. A growing body of research shows that happier, healthier people are more focused and productive and harder working. Just this past year, Harvard scientists who pioneered the longest running continuous study of human development confirmed what many of us have suspected for a while. Relationships are the key to a happy life. And when I say relationships, I am not talking about your Instagram followers. So it's not quantity that counts, it's quality. But in a society so focused on achievement and success, this can be really hard to remember, especially for us full-time working women who are still doing twice the amount of housework and childcare duties as our male counterparts. Where exactly is the time in the day to really focus on developing those high-quality, intimate relationships? One recent study from Washington University in St. Louis hit the nail on the head when they uncovered the single most important characteristic for any ambitious person to look for in a partner: conscientiousness. This study is among the first to demonstrate that the personality traits of the partners we choose may determine whether our careers make us richer or poorer. So why is this the case? Well, if you are a devoted worker and someone who's on the rise in your career trajectory, there are key moments in which you've got to bring your focus and energy to work, and that means having help on the home front to manage everything else that's going on in your life. A conscientious partner is someone who understands and respects that. And hopefully being conscientious is a reciprocal part of your relationship, so that when there are key moments in their career path, you can return the favor. So if you were like me and thinking that the relationships we choose are pretty much unrelated to our career success, think again. Finding yourself in a toxic relationship isn't just bad for you personally. It could also mean preventing you from achieving your full potential in your career. So if you do feel like you are stuck in an unhealthy or toxic relationship, here are the first few steps to turn things around. The first step you may already have completed. It's recognizing the problem. A toxic relationship is simply one that leaves you feeling worse about yourself than better about yourself. It's as simple as that. You don't actually need to rationalize the way you're feeling, and you don't owe anyone an explanation. You simply don't need to be around friends or partners or loved ones that drag you down. Step 2, which is equally important but not so easy for all of us to achieve, is to recognize that you deserve to be treated with love, compassion, and respect. So many of us, and myself included, have stayed in unhealthy relationships because we don't fundamentally believe that we deserve any better. This kind of a shift in thinking and our fundamental sense of self-worth is not always an easy thing to change, and sometimes requires the help of a trained professional like a therapist or counselor. But a strong sense of self-worth is fundamental to getting what you want out of life. Step 3 is to address toxic behaviors with I statements. I feel depleted when our one-on-one time is spent with each other on our cell phones instead of being present. Or I feel depleted when I come home from work and I'm the only one that's doing the dishes every night. Whatever it may be, when you frame the discussion around specific behaviors and actions and how they make you feel, that can be a really good starting point to gain clarity around your triggers in this relationship. And it can be a helpful moment to bring empathy into the discussion and see how conscientious you and your partner can be for one another. Now, don't address these toxic behaviors if you don't feel safe. If you're in a relationship that includes abuse of any kind, physical, verbal, psychological, or otherwise, reach out to the National Domestic Abuse Hotline right now at 1-800-799-SAFE. There you'll have a toll-free, judgment-free, totally safe and private space to talk with a professional about the resources available to you and discuss your options. Step 4 is to give yourself some distance. Because frankly, we need a little psychological space in order to boost our own confidence and build back up our sense of self. I honestly think that's part of the reason why so many women find travel to be a transformational experience, which we discussed in another one of my recent videos. It's really about having the time and space to get clear on who you are and who you want to be. And listen, happiness research shows that you are better off single than in an unhealthy or unhappy relationship. You're better off on your own than with someone who brings you down. So what do you make of all of this? Have you found yourself in a toxic relationship in the past, and have you navigated your way out of that? Share some of your journey in the comments below and any advice you'd have for women who are looking to make the same kind of leap. Or do you find this whole connection between who we date and how we perform at work to be totally ridiculous? I want to hear what you have to say. Does your relationship impact your career? Yes, no, and why? Share in the comments below so we can continue to uplift and inspire, because bossed up women lift as we climb. I really can't wait to hear what you think of all of this. Thanks so much again, as always, for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button now so we can keep this conversation going.